Namib GNU/Linux. It is an Arch-based Linux distribution that aims to make Arch simple and easy. Namib recently released a new version, version 1806. Let's take a look. So, Namib GNU/Linux, we're going to take a look at their 1806 release. This is their GNOME edition for 1806. Taking a look at the Namib website at namiblinux.org. I'll link to their website in the show's description. Namib GNU/Linux, fast and simple. Arch Linux made simple. So it's all about making Arch simple, which seems to be the goal of pretty much every Arch-based Linux distribution. So what separates Namib from the rest? The Calamares installer, easy to use. Love the Calamares installer. It's a great choice. You have the option of 4 different desktop environments, it looks like. We have the option of XFCE, Mate, KDE, GNOME, pre-installed applications, so it's going to come with a full suite of software. That's always nice. It's nice to be able to get work done right away on your Linux distro. Let's see, user-friendly, compatible with Arch, 100% compatible with Arch, so if you need to use the AUR, you can. Made simple. Namib is workflow and efficiency optimized. Now, what the heck does that mean? I'm not exactly sure where they're going with that. Anyway, try it out. You can try Namib in a virtual machine, which is what I'm going to do today. Try it running from a live DVD or USB stick. Or, of course, you can actually install Namib GNU/Linux on physical hardware. Today, I'm going to download the ISO. The ISO is right at 2 gigs in size. And I'm going to go ahead and install Namib inside VirtualBox. Alright, so I've got Namib loaded up here inside a virtual machine. So we have our boot menu here, and the options in the boot menu are boot Namib, boot existing OS, run memtest, hardware info, reboot, and power off. I'm going to choose the first option in the boot menu, which should just boot us directly into a live desktop environment. Because we're booting off the ISO, this is a live image, it may take a minute or two to load into the live desktop environment. It often takes a long time. If you're using a live USB, or especially if you're using a live DVD, it can take a minute or two before it finally loads the desktop environment. And so we wait. If I wasn't lazy, I'd pause the video here, or later I would go back through the video and clip this dead portion of the video out. But I'm lazy. I don't like editing video, so we're just going to sit here and wait a second. Alright, so it's finally loaded. Alright, beautiful live desktop environment. Wow, this is the GNOME desktop, but I really like what they've done with the panel at the bottom and the menu. Wow, that's really, really slick. Let me go ahead and go through the install, though. I don't want to, review the live environment. I'm going to choose Install Now. Oh, by the way, the VirtualBox guest editions are installed on the live image. That's really nice. Yeah, the Calamares installer. English has been chosen for our language, that's correct. Time zone, I need the central time zone in the US. Alright, English US is our keyboard, that's correct. Alright, partitions. I'm going to erase disk and let Namib have the entire 20 gig hard drive that I created for this virtual machine. We could also choose manual partitioning. Interesting enough, it's going to create a swap. And it's going to create a 8 gig swap. I gave this virtual machine 4 gigs of RAM. Apparently, by default, Namib makes a swap file, or a swap partition, excuse me, twice the size of how much RAM you give the machine. That's crazy. I normally would not do this in a VM, but I'm going to go ahead and let it do the automatic partitioning, because that's just wasted space. I'm never going to use that 8 gig swap partition, not in a VM. Anyway, what is my name? DT. What is my username? DT. What is my computer's name? DT-PC. And we need to create a strong and secure password for user DT. So let me create a strong and complicated password. Do we want to log in automatically without asking for a password? No, I like to be asked for a password. Do we want to use the same password for the administrator account? The root account? Yes, that way I don't have to remember 2 different passwords. Click Next. We have our summary. Location? It's good. Keyboard? Good. Partition scheme? Looks good, other than that 8 gig swap. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and start the installation. This portion of the install on most Linux distributions takes between 5 and 10 minutes, so I'll pause the video. I'll be back once the installation has completed. And the installer has completed. That took about 10 minutes. And always in the Calamares installer, what you need to do is you need to go down to where it says Restart Now. You need to tick that on and then click Done, and it will reboot your machine. If you've got a live USB plugged into your machine, if you're doing this on physical hardware, on reboot, you need to unplug the live USB. So we need to reboot our machine, so I'm going to do that right now. And I have rebooted my freshly installed Namib GNU/Linux. And let's see how long boot up takes. Now that we've actually installed it, it should be very fast, and it is. Boot up time was under 10 seconds probably there. Alright, let's log in. And the VirtualBox Guest Editions just work in Namib, which is really nice. We'll give it a second for the desktop to finish loading here. Okay. And first impressions, I mean, they do mean something. And first impressions for Namib, I gotta give it credit. For a GNOME desktop environment, this is gorgeous. I mean, this thing just looks fantastic. I was pondering, hey, what does Namib bring to the table that all these other Arch-based Linux distributions are not doing? Now, I don't know if Namib's XFCE edition or their Mate edition really stands out from the crowd, but I can tell you as far as a GNOME distro, this really separates itself from the crowd, how they have a traditional kind of panel at the bottom with these traditional kind of icon taskbar with a traditional menu, and this menu looks so good. That is just a great looking traditional menu, again, without, you know, the full screen GNOME launcher, you know. Anyway, first impressions, you know, for whatever they're worth, first impression is just fantastic. Alright, we have our welcome screen. Welcome to Namib GNU/Linux, yada yada yada. We have links for news, links to the wiki, links to their forums, links to the chat room, how to help the project, and how to donate. We also have this button at the bottom, Launch at Start. Let's tick that off. If I tick it off, I will never see this welcome screen on startup again. We can always launch it, you know, find it wherever it is in the menu here, but I don't need this thing to launch every time I load up Namib. Once I see it the first time, I'm good. Alright, let's go through the applications that are installed by default in Namib 1806 under Accessories. Wow. Calculator, files, I'm assuming, of course, is going to be Nautilus, the standard GNOME file manager. Let's open it up. Really big, oversized icons. I don't hate it, but they are a little bigger than I would like them. We can toggle the view here and change it, though, and get it away from this gigantic view here. Anyway, that's, you know, the Nautilus file manager. GNOME just calls it files nowadays, but the actual name of the program is Nautilus. We also have our HP device manager for our Hewlett-Packard printers. We have Parcelite. Just open up Parcelite. And does Parcelite open anything? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Parcelite is a clipboard, but I'm not sure where it puts the clipboard. I don't have anything in any kind of like sys tray or anything down here. But I launched Parcelite, so I launched the clipboard, but I'm not sure where it goes or what it's doing. Or maybe it just didn't launch. Maybe it crashed. I'm not sure. We have Redshift installed. Redshift changes the colors of your screen to help eyesight. Also, supposedly helps your sleeping patterns. You know, as it gets later in the day, it changes the color, the ambient color of your screen. I don't know if, you know, if it makes a huge difference, but some people swear by it. Text editor, of course, is gedit, the standard GNOME plain text editor. Really nice plain text editor. Also under accessories, we have tweaks. So we have the GNOME tweak tool installed by default. That's something you don't see a lot of GNOME distros installed by default, is the tweak tool. It makes sense why Namib has the tweak tool installed by default, because obviously they're using a lot of different extensions to get, you know, GNOME to look this way. If I go to the extensions panel, you see they're using the arc menu. I guess that's the name of this menu. Man, that is a really nice menu. They're using dash to panel, which it gives us this bottom panel. See what else they have turned on. They have user themes, load shell themes from the user directory. Okay, so they just have 3 extensions turned on. So it's actually not that many themes. I mean, excuse me, not that many extensions, just 3 extensions turned on. Back to the tweak tool. I mean, we can change the theme, the icons, the background, the lock screen. We'll come back to the tweak tool later. Let's see, under accessories, we also have the GNOME weather app, which is one of the best weather apps there is. Just really fantastic. If I want the forecast, forecast not available. So I can't get my forecast, at least not here in this VM. I'm not sure what that problem is, but I don't want to try to work it out. LibreOffice Math is available under the education category. Under graphics, we have GIMP. This, of course, is going to be GIMP 2.10, should be the latest GIMP, and it is. GIMP is our free and open source alternative to something like Adobe Photoshop. GIMP is a fantastic program. It's actually what I do to do all the artwork from my YouTube channel, to all my thumbnails and the channel header and everything. I do all that in GIMP. GIMP is just a fantastic program. Really one of the real highlights of free and open source software. Also under graphics, we have LibreOffice Draw, we have Shotwell, which is our photo manager, and Simple Scan, which is a scanning utility. Under internet, we have the Avahi server, and we also have Firefox for our default browser. Let's see what version of Firefox they're on. Since it's an Arch-based distro, I would expect it to be the latest, which is version 61. We go down here to Help and About Firefox. Yeah, Firefox Quantum 61.0.1. Yeah, close multiple tabs. I hate that it always asks you that by default. HexChat. We have our IRC chat client, HexChat. By default, it's going to try to connect to the Freenode network. I don't know if it will connect to the Namib support channels by default or not. Let me see. No, it's just looking up freenode.net, but I don't think it's going to connect us to any channel. Yeah, it's not. It's asking us to connect to the HexChat channel. Also under internet, we have Thunderbird for our email client, Transmission for our BitTorrent client. Transmission is the standard BitTorrent client in the GNOME desktop environment. It's one of the GNOME apps. Under Office, we have a lot of Office programs installed. We have Calendar, Contacts, Dictionary, Evolution for email. We also have the LibreOffice suite. The entire LibreOffice suite, Base, Calc, Draw, Impress, and Writer. And the latest LibreOffice is version 6. Or not version 6, is it? I think so. I think they're already on version 6. This says LibreOffice 5. Yeah, this is strange. LibreOffice 5.4.7.2. No, that's an older version of LibreOffice, I believe. Yeah, and I just looked on my host machine, which runs Manjaro, another Arch-based Linux distribution. Yeah, the latest LibreOffice is 6.0.5.2. So they're running LibreOffice 5 still. I'm not sure why they're doing that. I'm not sure if it would update to 6 if I ran a system update. Or maybe they have that package held back for some reason. Maybe they want to stay on version 5 in Namib. It's a strange choice, though. All right, under sound and video, we have Brasero. Brasero is the GNOME disk burning utility. Really nice CD, DVD burner. Also under sound and video, we have Cheese. Cheese is a webcam app. This VM is not going to connect to my webcam, so there's nothing for me to show you with Cheese. So let me just quit it. But what it would do, it would show you, similar to how you guys are seeing me talk on screen right now in this little rectangle. Cheese is something like that. You would see me inside a webcam. I can't use it in a VM. I also can't use it while something else is using my webcam, which OBS, recording this video, is using my webcam. Alright, Pulse Audio Volume Control is also under Sound and Video. Video for Linux Test Utility is also under Sound and Video. We have Rhythmbox. Rhythmbox is GNOME's audio player. Very nice music player, Rhythmbox. And under Sound and Video, we have Sound Recorder. We have VLC Media Player. Let's see what version of VLC they're on. 3.3. No, 3.0.3, yeah. Not sure if that's the latest VLC or not. We have a category called Sundry. Under that we have the Adobe Flash Player. Not sure why we need that, but that's cool. I guess it's installed. And we have printer settings. Under System Tools we have the Avahi browser, Deconfig editor, Gparted. Gparted would be great if you were using Namib as a live USB, like a rescue USB stick. Manage printing, multi-writer for creating those live ISO USB sticks. Network tools, settings, terminal. I'm assuming this would be our GNOME terminal. Let's see what terminal they're using. GNOME terminal 3.28.2. Also under System Tools, we have Time Shift for our backup. Basically, this takes snapshots. You can take snapshots and restore using Time Shift. You have the option of using rsync or Btrfs if you created a Btrfs file system. If you didn't, then you need to do rsync, which is what we would need to do. I'm not going to play with Time Shift, but it is a really neat, very easy to use way of taking snapshots of your system. Under System Tools, we also have Usage. What is Usage? I am not familiar with this program. I don't know if it's a GNOME app or not. It's showing us processor usage and what is using that processor. Under Memory, shows us, it is some kind of system monitoring tool, but it's not your standard GNOME system monitor, which is actually a pretty nice program. I'm not sure what this is. Alright, because, further down the list of System Tools, Welcome Screen. So this would be our welcome screen again if we needed to get that back. There it is. Alright, we have a category called Utilities. This is stuff like your Archive Manager for zip and unzip. Our Character Map, Disk Usage Analyzer, the GNOME Disk Utility, our Document Viewer for viewing PDFs, fonts, help, Image Viewer, logs, Screenshot Utility, and of course the GNOME System Monitor. Now this is GNOME's System Monitor here. This is a normal system monitor. Let's check out CPU and memory usage. Let's let it settle down for a second. CPU usage is pretty high. I gave this machine 2 cores of my 6-core CPU, and it's using about 25 to 30% of the CPU. And that's pretty high because there's really not much going on right now. Actually, I still have cheese going on right now. Let me get rid of that. I'm not sure. Do I have anything running? Yeah, I still have cheese. Force quit. Let me see if that straightens out anything. No, cheese being frozen because it couldn't find my webcam didn't affect the CPU or the memory in any way. It didn't reduce the numbers at all. Memory, by the way, it's using 1 gig of the 4 gigs of RAM I gave this VM. That's high. For not doing anything, that's high. But you know what? Those numbers are pretty normal for GNOME, if I'm being honest. So, alright, I think we've covered everything in the menu. There is a other category, and this is where you would find Add Remove Software. Let's see what graphical package manager they're using. Let's see. If I go to About, this is PAMAC. PAMAC is a GTK3 front end for libALPM. Anyway, your standard GUI package manager. You can search by category, click categories, and search for whatever. I can go to the graphics category, for example, and it will show everything that is available as far as graphical applications. For example, if I wanted to install Blender, I just click Blender, hit apply, and Blender would begin installing. I don't want to install Blender in this VM, but that is how you would use PAMAC. Really easy, really intuitive. We have our Bluetooth manager, Light DM Greeter settings, the Namib Notifier KDE settings, Namib Notifier settings, Namib Settings Manager. Let's see what Namib Settings Manager is. It's probably our control panel. It is. It's a neat little control panel here where we set locale, language, kernel, user accounts, time and date, keyboard settings, and hardware configuration. That's what the kernel app does. Okay, this is where we could install and remove kernels. Very cool. Me personally, even if I'm running a rolling release distro, I usually just stick with the LTS kernels. Right now, they're running the very latest kernel, though, in Namib 4.17.5. That is a very recent kernel. I like sticking with the LTS kernels. I don't need to be on the latest and greatest kernel. I don't need the kernel that just came out yesterday, you know. I'm fine with something that's stable. Also, under this other category, we have the Qt 5 settings, and we have software update. Let's see what the updater tool is. Looks like it's PAMAC again, except this time it's checking for updates. Yeah, still PAMAC. And how many updates? Wow, total update size 569 megs. How many packages? Does it give me a total of the packages? It doesn't. I'm not going to take that update right now. Again, this is a rolling release, 1806, so this was June of 18, so last month. That's a ways back when you're talking about rolling releases, so it could be a couple of hundred packages, you know, available for the upgrade. Oh, I'm going to right-click on the desktop here. I'm going to choose Change Background. Let's see what kind of wallpapers I have to choose from. So we have the option of changing the background of, you know, our desktop or the lock screen. I'm going to choose Background here. And this is the standard GNOME wallpaper pack. Nothing new here. This is just your standard wallpaper pack for GNOME. Except I don't see the default wallpaper here. Where did that wallpaper come from? I'm not exactly sure where the Namib guys got this particular wallpaper, because that's not part of the GNOME wallpaper pack. But the rest of these are things I've seen before, you know. Like this one here. The GNOME wallpaper pack is a beautiful wallpaper pack. I'm just not sure where they got that default picture. Like if I wanted it back, where would I go? Yeah. Anyway, we'll just stick with that one for now. Same GNOME wallpapers I've showed you guys a couple of dozen times now. Alright, I'm going to check out that GNOME tweak tool that I mentioned I would come back to. Let's see what we can do with the GNOME tweak tool. First, let me also open up a file manager. Let's open up our Nautilus file manager so we can see some of the changes that I make. Alright, so as far as themes, for applications, our theme is Materia-Namib. I'm not sure what that is. Let's play around with some of the others. How about Namib-Compact? What was the difference between... Okay, it's the title bar is slightly smaller if I choose Namib-Compact. We also have Namib-Dark, which I'm assuming would be a dark theme. That's really nice. Really nice. Namib-Dark Compact. Yeah, I think I would prefer that one, actually. That is not bad. We would need a lighter wallpaper, or choose a lighter theme if I'm going to do a dark wallpaper. Here's Namib-Light. Yeah, that's not too bad either. Some pretty cool themes here. You know what? I'm going to choose Namib-Compact. That was the best one, I think, was this one here. Icons, they're using Papyrus. We have Papyrus Adapta. Green or teal kind of color to it rather than blue. Adapta Nocto. Or, yeah, Papyrus Dark, Papyrus Light. Let's see what the light... Yeah, that's not bad. Just going to choose the standard Papyrus icons, though. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the default. The default theme looks great. It really does. Extensions, I'm not going to play around with the extensions. I like, really, how they have the bottom panel, the dash to panel set up, and I love this menu. I mean, I wouldn't play around with those at all. You know, I could actually live with this GNOME desktop. You guys know I'm not a big fan of GNOME, but this looks gorgeous. I gotta be honest, this is beautiful. Does Namib separate itself from the rest of the pack? At least with their GNOME edition it does. Before we go, let's see. I do want to sudo pacman dash capital S lowercase y lowercase u. Let's actually see how many updates are available. Let's see. 179 packages need to be updated. So the ISO, even though, you know, this particular version was released about a month ago, it is a rolling release. So already there's 179 packages that need to be updated. So that's something to consider, you guys that want to try this latest build of the GNOME edition. Overall, what do I think of Namib GNU /Linux 1806 GNOME? Love it. The install, the Calamaris installer just works. As far as their particular vision of the GNOME desktop, this is one of the best GNOME desktop distros I've seen since starting this channel. So Namib 1806 GNOME, A+ for me. Before I go, I need to give a special thanks to all my patrons, all my Patreon subscribers. David, Carlos, Nick, Daniel, Brian, Leo, AK, Ron, Keith, Dan, Michael, Tony, Bruno, David, Mike, Silvio, Omar, Mark, Mr. Neely Pops, John, Carl, Greg, Rob, Matt, Christian, Tiedemann, Stephen Z, Eduardo, Alex, Jake, Benjamin, Stephen B, Marcus, Interceptor, Two Belly, Hume, Paul, Other Paul, Chuck, Ben, John Kennedy, Swami, Mr. Smarty Pants, Dan, Bart, Marcus, Robert. You guys rock. You guys help make this show possible. Peace, guys.